If you're considering moving your family to St. Albert, Alberta, then you're probably wondering which neighborhoods are going to be good and which ones to avoid. In today's video, we're going to go over the 6 best neighborhoods for families in St. Albert. I want to give a quick thank you to Slanina1 for requesting this video. If you have any requests yourself, please feel free to drop them in the comments section and I'll do my best to get to them. My name is Evan. I'm a real estate agent here in St. Albert and the Edmonton area. And if you have any questions about moving here or buying or selling a property, you can reach out to me. My contact information is going to be in the description below. Before we get into this video, I just want to talk about St. Albert as a whole. If you're moving to St. Albert and you're not from the Edmonton area, planning a long haul move, I want to reassure you that St. Albert's a really good option. And to be honest with you, there's no bad neighborhoods in St. Albert. If you asked me to name one neighborhood in St. Albert that I think you should avoid, I wouldn't have an answer for you. St. Albert is one of the safest cities to live in Alberta and has been ranked one of the best cities in terms of quality of life in all of Canada a number of times. St. Albert's a fantastic place to live if you want to be in the Edmonton area, but you don't want to live in a big city. It's a suburb, it's beautiful, lots of parks, very safe, low crime, and a sense of community is wonderful. The neighborhood that you choose should be based around your budget, the type of home you want, proximity to schools if that's important, and the type of lifestyle that you have. There's no one answer to what's the best neighborhood in St. Albert because each neighborhood is going to shine in their own little way. As you're looking for houses in St. Albert, you might be trying to figure out which neighborhood is this house in. And I'm going to put on the screen here a little legend that you can look at, but basically if the first letter of the street that the house is on starts with the same first letter as the neighborhood, then it's in that neighborhood. For example, if you're looking at a house on Atwood Drive, it's going to be in Ainsdale. If you're looking at a house on Dearborn Drive, it's going to be in Deer Ridge. So the first letter of the street and the first letter of the neighborhood, that means it's in that neighborhood. Now, I've lived in St. Albert my entire life. I grew up in Woodlands and then Kingswood, and now I own a house in Deer Ridge, and I've got my opinion, but I'm just a realtor. So what I did is I went on our community Facebook group and started a poll. I asked the community, the residents of St. Albert, what they think. What is their opinion on the best community for families? And in this video, we're gonna go over the results of that poll and I'll give you my 2 cents along the way as well. So let's get out there and walk through a couple neighborhoods. We're gonna start at number 6 and we're gonna end at number 1. So be sure to stick around to the end of the video so you can find out what the number 1 top voted neighborhood for families in St. Albert is. All right, so after over 450 votes on the Facebook poll, coming in at number 6, we've got Deer Ridge with 8% of the vote. Now, Deer Ridge is actually where I own a house, and I can tell you a little bit about why I bought a house in Deer Ridge, and it's because I was looking for a place that had a front attached garage and a decent sized backyard, and I wanted to find something under $400,000, and that's exactly what you can find in Deer Ridge. Most of the houses in Deer Ridge were built in the 90s, some of them in the early 2000s, and most of them are going to have a front attached garage like the one you can see behind me here. Now, there are some houses in Deer Ridge that have detached garages. There's one street called Dalton that has almost all of them. And there's also a couple small townhome complexes as well. The median price, and I'll tell you what median means quickly. Median is the middle. So if there was 21 sales in the last 12 months, then you organize those sales from most expensive to least expensive. The median would be sale number 11, which means there's 10 homes that were cheaper than it and 10 homes that were more expensive than it. The median sale price over the last 12 months in Deer Ridge was $447,000. Like I said, that means that you're gonna find cheaper houses. You're also gonna find more expensive houses as well. A couple highlights about Deer Ridge. The main road that goes through Deer Ridge Drive, has 2 elementary schools on it. One of them is Catholic and the other one's a public school called Muriel Martin. Both of those schools have a nice big open park right next to them, and there's quite a few trails that go through Deer Ridge as well. So if you like to walk your dog or go on walks, even in the wintertime, then there's gonna be plenty of trails to do that. Deer Ridge is also fairly close to Costco, about 8 minutes to drive from Deer Ridge to get to Costco. There's also a Walmart nice and close by as well. So you're pretty close to grocery shopping. Now, there's 2 elementary schools like I mentioned, but there's also a high school in Deer Ridge as well. It's called Belrose Composite High School. It's where I went to high school actually. It's a great school. There's really 2 public schools in St. Albert. It's Belrose and Paul Kane, which just got rebuilt. It's a brand new, huge, beautiful looking building. Have yet to be inside of it, to be honest. There's also the St. Albert Catholic High School as well. We'll go over the other high schools here later in the video. I wanted to quickly quickly show you guys one of the parks in Deer Ridge. This park behind me, that school that you can see right there, that is the Catholic elementary school called J.J. Nearing. And this park behind me is pretty huge. It's got a soccer field, a baseball field, a really nice playground actually, and lots of people will walk through this park every day to walk their dogs. Now, down this path here behind me, you can go down there and you'll get into the park that's right behind the Belrose High School. And then there's another park a little bit farther down the main road for the Muriel Martin Public Elementary School, and that one is also quite big. It's got a really nice playground. It's also got a pretty decently maintained ODR, outdoor rink, for hockey and skating and stuff like that as well. Now, I told you guys the median price for single family houses in Deer Ridge, but I didn't talk about the pricing for townhomes, because I mentioned there's a couple townhome complexes. The cheapest sale of a townhome in Deer Ridge over the last year was $295. Lots of those townhomes are going to be priced right around that $300 mark. So if you're looking to get into Deer Ridge for a little bit of a lower budget, there's definitely options for you too. Now we're going to hop in the truck. I'm going to take you for a little drive so you can see what the houses in Deer Ridge look like, what the roads look like, get a feel for the area, and then we're going to move on to number 5. All right, now coming in at number 5, we're just west of Deer Ridge in another community called Northridge. Now in Northridge, the houses in here are a bit newer and a lot of them are a bit higher end. So as you might assume, the price level is a little bit higher in Northridge. Median price for single family houses in Northridge last year was $495,000. Lots of the homes in here were built in the early 2000s and some as new as 2015. A couple of the major things about Northridge is because the houses are newer and a bit higher end, security is a big factor here. There's lots of security cameras in front of many of the houses in here. And one thing that I find pretty freaking cool is the ponds in Northridge. There's a few ponds, and with ponds you have walkout lots. So you can actually find some pretty beautiful walkout pond backing lots in Northridge. If that's something that you're into and you have the budget for it, might be a good option to look into. We're taking a walk down here to the pond. I want to show you guys what it looks like. Now, most of the houses in Northridge are single family front attached garage homes. There are some half duplex condominiums in Northridge as well, so you can find those. But anyways, here is one of the ponds. Northridge just behind me. And we'll walk here quickly past one of the houses that backed onto it. So right now we're walking along one of the trails of the ponds in Northridge. And as you can see right behind me, that there is a walkout lot that backs onto this beautiful pond that's covered in snow and ice right now. But in the summertime, it's nice water, lots of greenery, and it looks pretty great. Now, there's not much for schools within Northridge, which could be a good thing. It means lower traffic. There's one school called Sturgeon Heights that's an elementary school. That school mainly services the rural homes outside of St. Albert. One of the good things about Northridge, or one of the many good things about Northridge, is it's very easy to access Edmonton from here. Northridge is right next to Ray Gibbon Drive, which is one of the main roads that goes from St. Albert to Edmonton, and you can get to the Anthony Henday within less than 10 minutes. So like we did with the Deer Ridge, we're gonna go through a little drive down the main road in Northridge so you can see what it looks like on the ground. And then next up, we've got number 4, which is actually the most affordable neighborhood on this list. And coming in at number 4 and the most affordable neighborhood on this list, we've got Forest Lawn. Now, Forest Lawn is actually almost on the other side of St. Albert from the last neighborhood we were just in, Northridge, and it only took me like 8 minutes to get here. That gives you an idea of how small St. Albert is, and try not to get tied up too much on the location because really nothing is far within the city. Anyways, Forest Lawn has a very large variety of homes. Most of the houses in this neighborhood were built in the 70s, and you're gonna find lots of front attached houses, like you can see that behind me, and there's also some with a rear detached garage. There's also a bunch of very nice townhouse condos in Forest Lawn. Lots of them were recently updated, and you can find those for as low as $210,000. One of the things that makes Forest Lawn so great for families is that there's a level of school right within the neighborhood for all ages up to high school. High school, you've got the brand new school of Paul Kane, which I mentioned back in Deer Ridge. That's located within Forest Lawn. And then for junior high, you've got Lauren Akins, and elementary school, you've got Leo Nickerson. Now, I quickly talked about how the trees in Forest Lawn are nice and big and beautiful, and I'm gonna show you here what the middle of this street looks like, and try to imagine how beautiful this street would look if it was the summertime and there was actually leaves on these branches. Location-wise, Forest Lawn is nice and close to Superstore and Freshco for groceries. And there's also 2 of the main hockey arenas in St. Albert are right down the road, Kinex and Jerome McGinley Arena. So if you got kids who play hockey, hopefully they've got practices at those arenas so you don't have to drive all the way out of the city at 6 a.m. to take them to practices. My parents had to do that when I was young. I feel really bad about it. Now, whenever they ask me for a ride, I make sure I'm available to do it. One of the other big highlights of Forest Lawn is the lovely ravine that runs all the way through it, top to bottom. I'm walking down it right now, and there's actually some houses that back onto this ravine. So if you don't want to be backing onto someone else, there is the possibility of finding a house that's backing onto the ravine in Forest Lawn. Now keep in mind, those properties are gonna be a bit more expensive, so be prepared to see that. All right, let's hop in the truck. I'll show you what the main road through Forest Lawn looks like. It has beautiful trees as well. And then we might stop by the Forest Convenience Market because the owners of that place are very friendly and maybe they want to say hi. All right, so this is the Forest Convenience Market here beside me. And when I was a kid, we used to ride our longboards here once a week to grab Slurpees with the ice cream on top. We're gonna hop inside. Since I was a kid, it has changed owners, but the new owners are amazing people. We'll see if they wanna say hi. So 2 years ago, new owners of Forest Convenience Market. This man behind me here is Vishnu. He's a very, very nice guy. They've done a really good job with this place, and they have some of the best ice cream in the city. So if you're moving to St. Albert or just coming to check it out, check out the Forest Convenience Market. Say hi to Vishnu.
That's my man right there. Thank you.
Vishnu goes, I'm in the video, you get free ice cream. So now I got a snack while we drive over to top neighborhood number 3. All right, voted number 3 for the best neighborhoods for families in St. Albert, we're in Heritage Lakes. Now, Heritage Lakes looks and feels a lot like Deer Ridge, and that's because most of the houses here, again, were built in the 90s, and most of them are front attached garage, just like that. The one thing that is a major difference between Deer Ridge and Heritage Lakes is that Heritage Lakes is much lower traffic. There's only one school in Heritage Lakes, and it's a French immersion school, so not a lot of through traffic. Most of the traffic in Heritage Lakes is people coming from their house or going home at the end of the day. For the single family median price in Heritage Lakes, you're looking at $482,500. A little bit higher than Deer Ridge, mainly because there's lots of bigger houses in Heritage Lakes as a whole. There are some townhomes in Heritage Lakes that can be found for as low as $300,000. And there's a huge park right in the middle of the neighborhood that is nice and wide open and has lots of green space as well. The main road in Heritage Lakes, Heritage Drive, goes in a big circle, and right in the middle of that circle are some houses, but also major parks and stuff like that. I guess I was a little bit surprised, to be honest, that this neighborhood was voted so highly. I think mainly it's because the homes in here are pretty affordable, they're pretty nice, and like I said before, it is pretty low traffic. The one downside to Heritage Lakes though, I'm gonna be quiet for a second, I don't know if you'll be able to hear it. But Heritage Lakes is very, very close to Edmonton, and it's actually right along the Anthony Henday, which is the busiest road in Edmonton. It's the ring road, the freeway that goes all the way around Edmonton. So that's just something to keep in mind if you're gonna be living here. You're gonna constantly hear the hum of a major highway at all times, because that road never gets quiet. It's always busy. Now, that means also that Heritage Lakes is one of the best neighborhoods for access to Edmonton. It's really, really easy to get into Edmonton from Heritage Lakes because they're pretty much touching each other. If you're somebody who likes to take walks in nature, Heritage Lakes is a good option because it's nice and close to the Lowest Hole Provincial Park, which has a nice big lake and beautiful birds and very nice trails all the way through it, as well as the Lowest Hole Greenhouse, the Enjoy Center, which you'll find very good selection of plants and organic foods, stuff like that. All right, we're gonna take a drive through Heritage Lakes so you can see what it looks like on the ground. And then we're gonna end up in the number 2 voted neighborhood in St. Albert, which is actually my personal favorite, and you'll see why pretty soon. All right, now we're in voted number 2 best neighborhood in St. Albert for families, and my personal favorite, Lacombe Park. Lacombe Park is one of the biggest neighborhoods in St. Albert in terms of how many houses are actually inside of it. And with that, there's a huge variety of different types of homes that you can find in here as well. There's a newer part of Lacombe Park called Lacombe Park Estates, where you'll find newer built luxury style homes in the $800K to $1 million range. But in older Lacombe, 70s and 80s built character homes with unique features that you really won't find anywhere else in St. Albert, and a ton of parks, all the schools that your kids are gonna need until they hit high school. The median price for single family homes in Lacombe over the last 12 months was $450,000. Now, keep in mind that that number is somewhat inflated due to the fact that Lacombe Park Estates is also part of Lacombe, and that's where you're gonna find some huge, expensive $1 million homes. But there are some expensive homes in old Lacombe as well that back onto parks. They're fully redone. You can also find very affordable detached single family homes for under $400,000. Lacombe Park really does have something for everybody. Detached single family with a front garage, with a back garage, townhouses, apartments. There's something for everybody in Lacombe. That's what makes it so great. Lacombe is a mature neighborhood with lots of big mature trees, tons of green space, lots of big parks. There's a pickleball court, which my mom is a huge fan of. She got me into pickleball the last couple of years. Good amount of fun. And my personal favorite, maybe one of the reasons why I like Lacombe Park so much, the dog park, which I'm gonna go show you here right away. If you've got a dog and your dog likes to run like mine does, then you'll probably like the Lacombe Lake Dog Park. It's a fenced in area where you can let your dog off leash, and it's very popular. So there's tons of other dogs here that your pup can play with. And right behind me here, fenced in areas over there. I'm not gonna go over there just in case some people don't want to be recorded. Definitely one of the biggest highlights about Lacombe Park. Another thing too is the lake right here gets cleared from snow in the wintertime, and they actually maintain the ice surface so that you can go skating in the winter on the actual lake. And there's a nice heated change room for you to put your skates on and take them off without having to be in the cold. All right, so we're gonna take our drive through Lacombe Park, show you what it looks like on the ground, and then we're gonna end up in our top #1 spot for the best neighborhoods in St. Albert for families. All right, and last but not least, voted #1 top neighborhood in St. Albert for families, Erin Ridge. Erin Ridge is a neighborhood that also has a huge variety of homes. Most of the homes in Erin Ridge were built in the 2000s, but there's also a newer development called Erin Ridge North with brand new homes being built as we speak. Erin Ridge has a high concentration of families and couple of newer schools, lots of parks, and a very good location in terms of amenities and convenience. Today we're gonna focus on the older Erin Ridge with a median price of $520,000. The homes in Erin Ridge are definitely built for families. Lots of them are quite big with lots of rooms and big yards. Erin Ridge is home to St. Albert's best maintained outdoor rinks and has plenty of parks and really nice playgrounds for your kids to play in as well. The location of Erin Ridge is also very good. You're about 3 minutes away from Costco, 2 minutes away from Walmart. You've got restaurants and the hospital right close by. And if it's important to you, the police station is also only 2 minutes from Erin Ridge. Erin Ridge is within a bike ride's distance from the skate park if your kids are into skateboarding or BMX biking, or I hear nowadays it's really popular to hop on your scooter and go to the skate park. Couple things to watch out for. The main road in and out of Erin Ridge can get very, very busy. So if you're someone who doesn't want to be on a busy road, make sure that you're in one of the cul-de-sacs or crescents of Erin Ridge that's going to be a little bit quieter. Otherwise, you might get annoyed with how busy it can get during peak times in Erin Ridge. Now I know that median price of $520,000 might be out of reach for some people, but you might be happy to know that there's also townhomes and apartments in Erin Ridge that can be very, very affordable as well. All right, we're gonna hop in the truck, show you what it looks like on the ground in Erin Ridge, St. Albert's top neighborhood for families, and then I'll meet you back at the house for some final notes before I send you off. Like I said at the beginning of the video, there are no bad neighborhoods in St. Albert for families. Every neighborhood's gonna have its pros, maybe a couple of cons, but there's no neighborhoods that are not safe, there's no neighborhoods that are unfriendly to families, and I'm sure that you'll be happy in whatever neighborhood you choose. Like I said at the beginning of the video, St. Albert as a whole is great for families, and don't get too hung up on the neighborhood, because I'm sure that if you find a house that's within your budget, it's the type of home that you want, and the area fits your lifestyle, you're gonna be happy. St. Albert as a whole, when you go from end to end, is only 15 minutes. So even though you think that you might be too far from stuff, just know that it's not gonna be any more than a 15-minute drive away. There are bus routes available throughout the entire city, so if you're not super close to a school, bus is an option. Again, if you have any questions about moving to St. Albert, buying, selling a property, anything at all, my contact information's in the description below. If you are interested in future videos, please be sure to subscribe. Drop a like on this video, it helps me out a lot. And if you have any more ideas for future videos, put them in the comments. Until next time, cheers.